Just given the time, we do timeout rooms, Geo Bond, facilities master plan. Any objections? All right.
Say that again. Last week.
Timeout rooms, Geo Bond, and facilities master plan. That order.
All right.
All right, timeout room.
Thank you.
Jane?
I was asked just to provide an update of the the committee's work. So what I'd like to share is on the Special Education Department website, and I'll walk through where the postings are at, but all of the meeting PowerPoints, the minutes, the handouts that the committee has been working through have all been posted on the site. So as you go into the district website and you click on departments, under departments, if you scroll down, you'll find the section that is specific to special education. Then within that, you'll go to the Chapter 103 seclusion tab, and you'll see an X by the spots on our website where there are extra items. And so underneath that is timeout room task team. And so when you click on that, you'll see the opening statement about what the task was that was given to me on December 13th, information that was requested, and then down below that you'll see each of the meetings. There was one last night that has not been posted. Denise is working on that. When she gets all the document and the feedback put together, then she gets all that information posted on this particular website. So on the 4 meetings that have been held so far, you'll find the agendas, you'll find any of the handouts that were provided to the committee, and then you'll see notes from the conversations and the discussions that happened at each of those. So I will, I'll just click on the March 6th meeting.
Sorry, Jane, how many meetings did you say?
We've had 4. There were 2 in February and 2 in March. And then our next one, we've got right now, just because there's some conflicts on Monday nights, we've stayed with Monday nights because we've had very good attendance on that night, and that seems to be a night that works well for people. This next month, there are a couple of conflicts, and we also have a special education advisory is on April 10th, and we have some committee members that are, some of our district staff support both of those committees. So as you get on here, you can go through and see the slides from each and every one of the meetings, what we review with people each time, where we start with information, and then that gives you the agenda. And then you can click into, on the March 6th evening, we had a presentation by our CPI trainers. They just went through, that's part of the discussion that's been going on, is the crisis prevention training, which is the de-escalation strategies, personal safety techniques, and then also goes through the physical intervention components of that training.
I was wondering, I don't remember if we ever get a list of the people who are on the committee? All right.
I've shared that out, but okay, well, that may not be posted on there, but we can, I know we've shared that with the board. Yep, you bet, you bet. And the committee makeup itself, just for the general overview, we have, I believe it's 8 to 9 parents. I think we've had one parent that needed to resign from the committee. We have our 3 challenging behavior team members who also are our crisis prevention trainers. We have 2 elementary building principals, 1 secondary principal. We have gen ed teachers. We have a couple of special education teachers. We have some of the special education coaches are present as well. We have the DE behavior consultant, Sean Casey, who comes. We have 2 members from CVV from the University of Iowa who participate. And then we have 3 PhD students that are connected with CVV right now who come and observe and just watch the process. They are not participants in it, but they are helping support our work with our FBA and BIP review that's part of the corrective action plan.
You know, there seemed to be kind of a noticeable set of people who were what I call activists trying to change this situation. I'm wondering if any of those people ended up sort of selected for the committee just to provide that perspective. You know what I mean?
No.
Well, it seemed to me like there was almost like a group of parents who were bringing this issue to our attention to begin with.
We have parents who are on the group who's one of the criteria for the application process we went through who have children who are on IEPs, and the use of seclusion and timeout is part of their behavior management plan or their information plan, or they're in programs where those rooms are present. So we have 3 to 4 parents right now where their children have had used, that strategy or intervention has been used with their children.
Yeah, but I think what Chris is getting to, like on the IPM committee, we have vocal critics of board policy on that committee, along with people who are strong supporters. Are there any people on the committee that are vocal opponents of isolation rooms?
Probably 2, I would say, who came into this with the idea that we would, that's not how they present at the meetings. They take the information and ask a lot of questions. So to say we don't have that going on at the committee. They are people who would like to see use of different interventions, yes.
You know, I'm the one who I just asked to have this on the agenda, and I know it's late, and I know I wasn't expecting you to report anything out tonight. So
Well, and that's why I just
we'll have
wanted to share this so
yeah.
people had an opportunity to look at that. I know people were concerned that the information wasn't available, so it is all on there on the website.
I did want to ask, I mean, I'm told there was a question, or there were some questions on the parent survey about this particular topic. And I'm wondering if we already have any data on coming back to that survey, and if your committee is aware or looking at it.
They're finishing up putting that data together. I have been asked about format and how we wanted the information to be reported out. So K-12 Insight is getting that final report prepared for us. Actually, Lori, she goes, just asked that maybe that be one of the areas that I report out on April 11th, and I think that's a really good time to do that. I think we'll also try to figure out how to get that posted on our website as well, so people can look and see the responses and how those came out.
Yeah, and on that special ed survey, people that raised the concern with me is that when you get down through it, close to getting out of it, they asked you what building you were in and some other clarifying information there. Is there any way to capture the number of people who started the survey and didn't complete it?
I would have to ask the K-12 Insight people. They had changed initially, they changed that to be an optional response. You did not have to respond to that. Initially it was, or a forced choice, it was changed.
Okay.
I had a couple of parents that had called me and they were concerned about that, so they told me they took that off, and it was not one that was a required response for your survey to get processed.
Okay, but originally it was. So,
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
So if you started right, yes.
Yeah, if there's any way to
Absolutely.
see, you know, when they got to that point.
And when you look at the information, and I don't know the percent, the vast majority of people did respond to a building, and which building they were in, there was a number of people that did not. The number of respondents was higher than the number of people that indicated which building their child was in. So some did choose not to complete that particular question.
Now, if the committee goes in a direction of looking for alternatives, since we're in the midst of our bond and our facilities master plan, any alternative is going to require more space. And we, I guess we, I think also as a board need to send our intentions as how we feel toward them. So the committee knows that, you know, if we're strongly in opposition to these being used, that, you know, the problem doesn't go away by the fact that, or I should say the problem, the need for a space for our students doesn't go away just because we go from a 6-foot by 6-foot enclosure to something larger. And if our direction is to go that way, which I hope we do, we need some assistance going forward as far as the buildings identified where that extra space is going to be needed, so it can be incorporated into the facilities master plan, and we can show that we're going to address it going forward, because we could eliminate them tomorrow, but we still need that safe space and a space for our students, and so we need to, as far as I'm concerned, work on providing that option as well.
And I would say we may or may not need more space. The space requirement may not be there depending on, again, what the team makes as a recommendation, what path the board chooses to go. Not every intervention or strategy is necessarily space-based.
Sure, right, but I would hate to think we continue to use them just because it's expedient and it's efficient.
and I would say that's not why we're using them now, but yes, they can be used in other ways.
Right.
So please feel free to take a look at all that. I will,
So you say- so you say you want to come back in June.
yes,
Do you
please.
think you're going to need anything from us between now and then?
If we do, I'll
Right.
be in contact. Right now, again, this group realizes the significance of this particular task. Everybody has been very diligent in going through all of the information. They want to look at what's available. We have people bringing in new information, research-based continually. We have it posted in what we call a virtual parking lot, so people find new articles. Like some of the information that was shared tonight, we get those out to the group. We try to get that out ahead of time so that they've got time to go through all that. So we usually are at about a 2-week pace right now to give people a chance to read, digest, ask questions, so that we're ready to go with the discussion the next time we get everybody together. And I don't know, Latasha, if you want to share anything else out, or?
It's definitely illuminating, being that there are a variety of ideologies about how this should and should not be. And so there is, and it's a good challenge, right? Because some people, you have those different sides of it. What's great about it is people are willing to hear each other out. And no one's made any final decisions about anything, because it's been more about taking information in and trying to come up with solutions for all folks. And so that's been very illuminating and helpful for me. And then also understanding terminology that's being misused from our community about how we talk about this, and some of the language that needs to change, including timeout rooms and what that means. And so, it's great having the folks from the Department of Education there and from Grantwood AEA, because then they're also able to provide some of those resources about what's happening even nationally. And so, so that's been really helpful. So I mean, even within the struggle, there's lots of teamwork about trying to talk through this and process this. And I think at the end, people are really trying to look out for what's going to be best for kids. So yeah, so it's a lot more to learn, but I definitely have learned more in the last couple of weeks there than I thought I would learn about this. And so there definitely is some language is being misused about not understanding how that works. And so, but yeah, some explanations are really important, and I hope that the final report out will be able to be really specific about what those things are. People are trying to be really specific and trying to do some community education in that rollout too. So that's really helpful.
When is the next meeting?
April 17th.
Would there be any reason I couldn't just sit in the audience?
No, we've had people, actually, we have it at work tables so that we can have small group conversation. People are looking through data, looking through reports, and reporting out. So we've had some chairs that we've had a couple of people that have visited and just sat in the back and listened to the 5:30 to 7. It's usually worked pretty well, although we sometimes have to stop people. We said we're going to be respectful. We start right at 5:30. We try to quit at 7, although we've leaked across. I also feel like as the groups, each time we meet, there's a lot more conversation. We've had engagement with people who are a little quieter at the front. Feels like there's open conversation, and I think what Latasha said too, people have been very open to listening to other ideas. We have a couple of parents with some experience and some trainings and some I guess therapies maybe that they have shared out. We've got some staff that are going to trauma-informed care training this summer, and part of that was a parent that had that experience and talked to how beneficial that was for her son. Staff had already signed on to take that training, but it was nice to hear that we've had some implementation of that in the district already. So again, it's been very reciprocal, a lot of good information, and the attendance has been great. People come. We have people that are there every time. So it's been a really good opportunity. I know I appreciate the board commissioning this group. It's been a very good learning experience for me too. And I think again we're going to come out in a good place. I did share with them that this is a group that is making a recommendation to the board to accept, reject, or accept with modifications. So they also understand that too, that we are not a final say group. We're doing some of the legwork, looking at research, and then we'll come back with something, and then the board can do with that what the board so chooses. So if you have time to take a look at this, like I said, I'm sure Denise will have the information from yesterday's meeting up there sometime this week yet. So, and then we just continue to add to this after every time we meet. You'll see what we've done and the notes and all that stuff.
All right, thanks,
Thank
Jamie.
you.
Geo bond?
Yep, I'll pull the language up. Right, so bond counsel has reviewed the proposal and they have forwarded this language to us. There is one correction in here on the very last line on the right-hand side. City, Liberty, Tate, and West High School is what that should read. With the exception of that, though, I believe that the rest of the language in here is correct as submitted by bond counsel. So we would entertain questions that you have. We relay those back to bond counsel and try to get that back to you by the end of the week here.
So that big paragraph is the paragraph that will appear on the actual ballot.
That's correct.
Good with me. Discussion on that? Other discussion on geo bond?
No, other than to tell you that we have been out, requests for multiple PTOs, so I know district administrators have had a chance to share. I know board members have been out, and I believe members of the campaign committee have also been out.
I just have one question about the bond. I know the information's out there, but I don't think we've ever had the information discussed here at a work session. The breakdown per 100,000 for residential.
Sure. I'll do that for you real quick. So I think one of the things that's a challenge, because I say this because we were just out meeting with.
After rollback.
Right, that was the issue that was out there when we were out meeting with Lex, we were talking to. So I don't have a thing here, so I can't put this up. Sorry, I was going to see if there was an Elmo over there. But if you look at the fiscal year 18, that's a 13.98260 is the levy rate. Estimate for fiscal year 19 with the bond would be 14.96260. Differential is 98 cents on that. But then the issues that you'd have to take into consideration, 100% value on a house of $100,000 would include a rollback value of $56,939, a homestead credit value of $4,850, which means that you wind up with a new old tax rate, a tax of $796, the new tax rate, a tax of $852. You would have a homestead credit of 68 on the first one and 73 on the second one. You would get a net tax of 728 on the first one and 779 for fiscal year 19. That annual differential is $51.05 or $4.25 per month.
Is that sheet you're looking at somewhere on there? We can find it online.
I don't know if it's out there, but we can certainly post it.
The 425 is on the district website with the bond information.
Yeah, but I think he's looking for how you calculate it with the rollback, and we can certainly put that out there.
You're working on some frequently asked questions.
We are working on some frequently asked questions. Thank you. So the first iteration of that has gone through review of the administrative team here at the ESC. Craig's almost done with that cleanup. We're then going to send it out to the administrative council and get feedback from them. Then we'll post it online. And hopefully we will have many questions answered there, but we anticipate we'll get more. And then as we get those questions, we'll update that in real time so that people have regular access to it.
How long did you say you thought that would be before that's?
Craig's doing the cleanup on the admin questions that came into him. I think he got the last set of questions yesterday, so he's doing the cleanup on that right now. We're going to try to get that out to the administrative council by the end of the week so that we can turn it around and get it posted to the general public by the end of next week.
So next steps, if we're okay with this language, we can approve the language on the 11th.
That's correct. This will be then on the agenda on the 11th for approval.
And then you're basically looking for signatures to,
That's correct. Then we would start seeking signatures.
between now and July,
Yes.
June, July. Looks like maybe June.
In the June's beginning of July.
Is there anything else you need from us, or?
No, sir. Now, if there aren't any other questions for us to take to the bond council.
No, I think one of the frequently asked questions I'm interested in is what happens if it failed and you waited a year?
If it failed what?
If it failed and you waited a year?
From a cost standpoint?
Yeah, you'd have the cost of inflation, right?
Right.
3% would be like $5 million, 5% would be $9 million, and then, you know, what if interest rates go up half a point?
I think our total was about $11 million if that happened.
So a risk of $20 million within 1 year delay.
I believe that was the total when you added the basis points in.
Depends what you want to assume, but they're all big numbers. Anything else in GeoBond?
No, sir.
Facilities master plan?
We didn't have anything to share with you tonight other than perhaps the opportunity to answer questions that you might have. Obviously, right now, we're wrapping up this year's projects. Things are looking good right now. Maybe just a quick update for you since time is short. We're looking at being on time or slightly ahead of schedule at Liberty High. One of the things we're hoping to be able to do is as they wrap up, we're hoping to cohabitate with the construction crew a little bit early so that will give staff time to get in sooner than we thought they would. Things are moving forward quickly at Hoover. Again, the weather's been very favorable if it stays dry. That allows us to get a lot of that external work done more quickly, but the internal work is progressing at or ahead of schedule.
All right, anything else for this master plan? Entertain.
I just want to say that I worked with Kristen today. There was a couple errors on the timeline that we cleaned up. Just wording errors. So that's the timeline that's on the website now should be updated and correct.
All right.
I know I've expressed some questions about some of the majors in those are there.
I believe they are all are, and they are all the corrected ones are uploaded.
Further discussion? Oh, I lowered them a lot.
There you go.
All right, entertain motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Meeting's adjourned.